Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that you have a magnificent day. I'm here to do an intuitive card reading to see what guidance, messages, and insights the universe wants to share with us at this time, especially in regards to being very mindful, intentional, selective, and purposeful with your words, with your energy, and with your actions, because it is going to shape your reality and it can be either for your benefit or to your detriment. And a lot of people are going about things very unconsciously right now, and it's showing in the reality that they're creating. So let's take a look at the cards and see what other information the universe wants to help us with right now. Okay, first card we have is New Moon in Pisces, attune to the divine. And to be honest, modern society is very disconnected from nature, from other people, from the divine, from ourselves. Like, so many people are just completely disconnected. And if they're connected to anything, usually it's technology, social media, all of that. And not that it's inherently bad, like, they are resources and tools that can help us. Like, I'm literally communicating to you right now via technology and social media, but there's extremes that people go to, and they're not very intentional and mindful and selective and purposeful with what they do. A lot of times people go on autopilot, whether it be, as an unhealthy coping mechanism to numb out and run away from their feelings and their past, just because like they're getting caught up in cycles and habits and patterns. Maybe they're just like unconsciously going along with the crowd and like, oh, this is just what people do nowadays. Whatever the reason, we are so disconnected, and the universe is asking us to get reconnected, to tune into the divine, which is inside of us. It's not outside of us. It's not some unattainable thing. It's like we are the divine incarnate as human beings. So one way that we can get reconnected and tune into the divine is to reconnect with ourselves, to spend time with ourselves. I know so many people who can't stand being alone. Mind you, that doesn't mean you always want to be alone. Like, I can get lonely sometimes, but I'm able to sit with myself. I'm able to handle the quiet. Like, these past couple nights, I've been letting my aunt's dog out because he's old and he needs to go out like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And it's just so peaceful and quiet and calm. And it's like he goes off wandering around the yard doing his own thing, and I'm just sitting there and I'm with myself and I'm in the silence, and I can just breathe easy, and it's beautiful. But so many people always need to have the noise. And sometimes it's not even that they need to have the noise, it's that it's just constantly. If you think about city life, there's always, the honking of horns, construction noises, people blaring music or videos or whatever, people shouting at each other. Like, city life is so loud. It is why I can't stand it. Not that people can't enjoy it, not that, everyone has to be like me, but I just feel so disconnected and out of sorts and just discombobulated when I'm in that energy too long. And so I like being by myself. Not that I dislike being around other people, but I want to be around the right people, because honestly, I have a genuine, deep, compassionate love and care for humanity. I wish them the best. I want them to have healthy, happy lives. But honestly, a lot of them I can't be around because they're just so draining to be around. Like my family, for instance, that toxic group and the narcissist, former friends, toxic bosses. Like, I have no ill will towards any of them. But they were just such energy vampires and so toxic and like have all these unhealthy dynamics. Like, I was just getting depleted and depleted, and they were dimming my light and just making me a shell of myself. And so, yeah, I want to be around other people, but I want to be around the right people so I can thrive and shine my best, and But I think part of the reason other people can be so draining is that they're not connected and tuned into the divine. And so, because like we can get so much energy from the divine, like that's why when I'm doing like in that creative flow state, I just feel so alive and I can do all these things. And why in the middle of the night when basically everyone else in the world is asleep, I just like, there's so much energy and I can just flow and do things so easily. But then, you know, other people, since they're not connected and they're not in that flow state, they end up looking for energy sources from other people rather than the divine, which is infinite, you know? And so the universe wants us to get mindful about that. It's like, where are we trying to get our energy from? What are we trying to connect to? What are we associating with? What are we giving our time, energy, and attention to? Is it actually helping us? And, you know, in modern society, they have that whole hustle and grind culture. Like, you got to go, 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 be productive. Just keep cranking things out constantly, constantly, constantly. And that's not to say it's bad to be productive, but you can get so much more done with so much less time and energy and effort if you are tuned in, tapped in. Well, I think Abraham Hicks was saying that tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Like, if you are in that flow state, if you are connected to the divine and connected to your true self, like, it just flows so naturally and you don't have to put in all this effort. You flow with the stream instead of fighting against it. And you're co-creating with the universe instead of trying to force your will against the universe's divine timing and master plan. So the universe said, like, hey, slow down, breathe, reconnect, take time to pause, take time to tune into yourself and the divine, take time to journal, to reflect, to meditate, do guided meditations, like whatever it is, like do some prayer, some gratitude, like tune into the divine, because that's going to be opening up all these doors for you. As humans, we are very limited in what we can do. Mind you, we also have a lot more potential than we realize, but for the divine, it's infinite. Like, it can work magicals and miracles in your behalf, and like snap of fingers, it's done. Like, I remember when it was, I think a couple months after my grandma had passed, and like my mom was put in charge of the finances and they were supposed to be sending a check, and my mom said, oh, let me know when you're going to do it so I can go by the house and pick it up. They didn't say. And like, there's something about it, like that day I was like, oh mom, were you gonna go over to grandma's house? And she's like, well, no, I wasn't planning on it, but I guess I can go look for the mail and all that. And it turns out that they had just let that check with all the money in an envelope out on the porch in the rain, not in the mailbox. And so it's just like, yeah, like when you tune into the divine, stuff like that could happen and it can really save you. It can tune into all this potential and make things so much easier for you. So we really need to do more of that. And that's not to say you necessarily have to go to church, or you have to believe a certain religion or anything like that. If that's how you tune into the divine, all the more power to you. You do what works best for you. It's a relationship between you and the divine. Like, no one else gets to say how that works for you, you know? Because I know there are plenty of people who've had some nasty experiences with religion, and not that I had the worst experiences, but like the church that I grew up in, it has this dark underbelly, and it's just like they didn't really accept questions, and then they like kind of belittle and gaslight you if you tried asking. It was a thing. And so yeah, like I get that not everyone's cool with religion, and that's fine. Just connect with the divine, connect with nature, go on walks in nature if you need to. Like, that's one thing. Like, I feel very connected to the divine when I go out with my aunt's dog in the middle of the night, and it's just like peaceful, and it's like I feel it, you know? Full moon in Gemini, embrace the flow of life. Yeah. So many of us are trying to coerce and control and force things. We are not going with the flow. We are trying to metaphorically turn the boat around and paddle upstream. It's like, no, my will. It will be this way. It will be this way. I'm going to control it. I'm going to force it. I'm going to be rigid. And I'm going to make it happen. And it's like, listen, you can have your preferences. You can have your plans. You can have your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, your goals. all the more power to you. But we got to be more open. We have to allow and embrace the flow, because think about it. Like, if metaphorically speaking, you tried to turn that boat around and go upstream, and you're paddling as hard as you can in like the rapids, you know how harsh and turbulent those rapids can get? You're not going to be able to go upstream. You're just going to get yourself all beaten up. And that's what happens with a lot of us. And this is why the universe is saying, hey, tune into the divine and go with the flow. Embrace it, because you are causing all this unnecessarily struggle for yourself. Like, literally. It's like my family, like, they don't do simple things like just asking. They assume, and they make things all convoluted. It's like, why not just ask them? Or like what happened with my former friend who was wanting me to be accountability partner, and she's like making this whole convoluted story and excuses, and like, I don't think I can ask her this, so you should just do it, and like going all through this whole thing. And I just like simply went to my best friend. I was like, hey, we were thinking about doing vision boards. Do you want to join us? And she's like, oh yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to. And it's like, literally, we can go with the flow, and it can be simple. Like, if my best friend said no, like, I was fine with it. I was like, okay, I can make plans accordingly. I can act accordingly. If she says yes, okay, I can make plans accordingly. I can act accordingly. Like, we can go with the flow. We literally can. And so, like, that's what I've been trying to do a lot with life, especially when I see the contrast of how my family operates and how so many people that have crossed paths with me operate. Is like, there isn't flow, there isn't, tuning into the divine and getting in alignment and resonating and all that. Like, it's very much control and forcing, and then screaming and throwing tantrums and complaining and ranting and just blowing up and having emotional volatile explosions, all that, when it doesn't go the way you want. And it's like, guys, like, we just need to remember to breathe. Because just because life has taken a detour, an unexpected turn, or anything like that, and it's not according to what we think things, quote unquote, should be, doesn't mean it's not working out in our best interest. Like with what happened with that toxic group and the narcissist, like, I know I've brought up that multiple times, but it's just a very good example of things like this. It's like, I expected that we would be, long-lasting friends, and they wouldn't all turn on me, and we would be able to communicate openly and honestly and be a place of respect and peace and love and care and support. And then it turned into a whole big drama and turbulence and chaos and smear campaigns and hurt and betrayal and like all these things. And so it's just like, yeah, like, well, for instance, because I know people in my life have tried to be in denial and delusions and try to force things and be like, no, we can make this work. I can make you see the light. I can get you to do what I want. And like trying to like basically coerce and manipulate the other party into like admitting that they were wrong and they need to do better, and like we can make things better and all these things. Listen, I am open to patching things up with people, but only if it's reciprocal, only if it's mutual, only if we're both putting in the effort, we're both tending to and nurturing the relationship. But the thing is, so many of my relationships, no matter what form they take, are very one-sided, where I'm the one who's constantly giving. I'm the one who's always expected to bend over backwards and to make sure they're okay and to keep them in mind and be considerate and supported and uplifting them and be quiet and not take up space because I'm too needy, even though it's like them. So it's like, I'm going with the flow, and it's like, if these people stay in my life, okay, I can work with that if they're, willing to put in the work. But if not, it's like, okay, I'm okay being on my own. I'm okay like looking elsewhere and finding people who resonate with me and match my kind of energy and values and priorities and all of that. And so that's what the universe is saying for you too. Because if something isn't working out, it's for a reason. And it could be it doesn't resonate. It could be the wrong environment. It could be the wrong people, whatever it is. And as hard as it can be sometimes, try not to get caught up and the emotions, because I was very caught up in the emotions after what happened the end of last year. It was brutal. It was brutal. There was a lot of crying and being in the thick of the human emotions, but if we can let go and see how things play out, we can see, like me looking back in hindsight, how it worked out for the best, you know? You don't always see it in the moment, but it really does work out for your best. And part of that, New Moon in Taurus, is to know your worth. Because a lot of times, like what I've recognized through recent experiences with people and recognizing the very unhealthy, toxic patterns and cycles and, you know, all of that keep repeating throughout these relationships is because I was conditioned to play small, to not, you know, rock the boat, to keep the peace, to, you know, walk on eggshells so other people feel comfortable. And it's just like, that wasn't recognizing my true worth. That was letting other people dictate the pace, dictate who and what I am, like what I'm allowed to do. And the universe says, no more of that. No more of that. Like, that's part of the reason why the universe wants you to tune into the divine, because you are the divine's beloved child, and it adores you unconditionally. It loves you unconditionally, and you are inherently worthy. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to do this and the other. You don't have to have a successful business, or you don't have to have like a friend group of like, I don't know, 100 people. I don't know how many people are usually in a friend group, honestly, because my friend groups have always been very small, because I struggle to connect with people, and then they get smaller and smaller and smaller because people really don't resonate with my energy. It always turns up turbulent for the most part. And so, yeah, I just need to stop settling. I need to stop settling for people. Like, I did not settle like so many people, like my family, for instance, like my siblings, they were obsessed with being popular. And like my youngest brother, he would be quote unquote friends with all these people. Some of them didn't even know his name. And it's just like they would steal from him, they would lie, they would backstab. Like, that's not friends, okay? That's not friends. And so the universe wants you to know your worth, because you deserve better than that. You really, really do. And yeah, New Moon in Aries, go for it. Go after your dreams. You know, if you can tune into the divine and take that inspired, aligned action, going with the flow, recognizing your worth, yeah, you may be rejected at times. You know, things may not always pan out, but don't settle for less. Like, with me personally, I have settled for a lot. Like, I remember when I first graduated from college, I ended up working, you know, these part-time jobs, and then at one of the jobs, it was after care and before care, there was this mom who was a single mom, just moved to the area and needed a babysitter. I downplayed myself a lot because I just wanted to help her out. She didn't have a lot of money. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with helping out your fellow humans and, you know, acting of service, but it's like, that's the kind of thing that's happened a lot in my life, where people have told me I'm not worth very much, so then I downplay myself. Like, for instance, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but my mom's company was having, I think it was the 50th anniversary. And so she asked for me to make this like logo and celebratory like images and all that. And so I did. And then like someone else had been at the job site and was, you know, touching up the logo on the exterior of the building. That person got a whole bunch of money. My mom was just like, oh, I'll give you $40, you know, that'll be enough. And it's just like, I spent all this time and effort on it, and you just downgraded me. Like, I'm not good enough. You're acting like this wasn't art. Like, but the touch-ups were like, it's that kind of thing. And so the universe wants you to know your worth and to pursue what really is in alignment with you, what truly lights up your soul, what truly makes you feel alive. Which is why I've been trying to do more of the creative projects. And like, people have told me that like, one of my online friends was trying to get me to go back online and be in this community. And it's not like I'm against being in that community, but I just don't feel in alignment with that right now. It doesn't resonate because it's just a lot, like it sucks up a lot of energy because of the type of people that can be on there, because the toxic group is on that online community, and not like I'm trying to hide from them, but I'm like, I just don't want to deal with your nonsense, okay? I don't. And so it's like, what I want is to do my creative projects. And so that's what I've been doing, you know? And so the universe wants you to go after what truly is in alignment with you. No matter what other people try to tell you, no matter what kind of like narratives and excuses and justifications your mind can come up with, because it can come up with a lot. I surrender to a power greater than me. That's the thing. That's why the universe wants you to tune into the divine and embrace the flow of life, because as a human, you're a limited perspective. You have a limited amount of time and energy and all of that. Like, there's only so much you can do on your own. Not to say you can't do a lot, because humans are, very potent and capable and powerful and all of that. But the universe, the divine, it has so much more potency, so much more power, so much more capabilities. It literally can just snap of fingers and things are done. It can line things up perfectly, so then things just fall in your lap, or you notice the right thing at the right time, or you encounter the right person at the right time. Like, it can work the magic. And so that's why the universe wants you to embrace the flow, to stop trying to coerce and control and force things, because we're getting in our own way. We're very much getting in our own way when we do that. And we might be thinking like, no, like I'm actually helping myself. I'm taking it seriously. I'm going to make things happen. And it's like, not that it's bad to make things happen, but it's like, how much are you tripping yourself up and how much are you self-sabotaging? Why not surrender? Let things be. Not that you never take any action at all. Not that you just sit back passively and be like, okay, universe, work all the magic for me. The universe wants to co-create with you. But watch what happens and try not to get too attached to outcomes of things going out certain ways, because the universe will surprise you in the best ways when you can have that open mind and open heart, when you can allow, when you can trust, when you can surrender, when you can embrace that flow. Yeah, I always trust the direction of the universe and know I'm being guided. That's the thing. The universe never abandons you. It never forgets you and it never forsakes you. It has your back and it is working magic and miracles on your behalf. It is working everything out for your highest good. It may take time to get there, but the universe has the master plan and the divine timing. It will make sure everything happens when it needs to. You're always being guided. You have so much support and love and protection from the universe, and the divine will send all this good to you, okay? It's just a matter of whether or not we're being in alignment with it, if we're open and receptive to it, if we're allowing it to come in, if we have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Because if we have those blinders on, it's like, no, it has to be a certain way, we're going to miss things, We're going to miss things. And so that's why the universe is wanting us to get out of our own way and be more mindful and intentional about things. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. That's the thing. If we're always thinking about how things aren't going right, or in the words of my family, nothing ever goes right, everything always goes wrong, I always expect the worst, so then I can't be disappointed, like that kind of stuff, like that's what you're manifesting. That's what you're manifesting. And that's why the universe really wants you to be mindful of your words, your energy, and your actions, your beliefs, because it will create your reality. Like, the other day, my mom was like, oh, your aunt was wanting to know, like, you should send a picture because Chevy might be dead. I'm like, what are you on about? Chevy is her dog. And I'm like, what are you going on about? You think I'm going to let him die and I wouldn't say, like, what? And she's like, no, but it could happen. I'm like, so I need to be taking pictures all the time to prove that he's alive? Like, what? Like, these people, guys. And, they say stuff like that and think it's rational, and, they're literally speaking death and ill and, all these horrible things over people, and other creatures, and it's like, just don't do that. Like, that's how you manifest this reality. Like, literally, with our last cat, I won't say the name because it really irritates me because my mom named her like a robot name, but my dad at one point was like, oh, she's going to be dead within the next year, so we don't need to get her this medicine, because she was getting like arthritis and achy, and she was like 13 years old. And then she died, I think, like 6 months later. And then my mom's like, you killed her. She's like, no, I didn't. And it's like, you were speaking death upon her. And he kept saying stuff like that. So it's like, what you focus on creates your reality. Are you speaking life and wellness and love and success and happiness and peace and all of that over yourself? Is that what you're focusing on? Is that what you're putting your energy towards? Are those the seeds you're planting? Because you will reap what you sow. The energy you put out comes back to you. So like, that's why the universe really wants you to be mindful and intentional and selective and purposeful with what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're putting your energy towards, because it's going to create your reality. It's going to. You have more say than you often realize. You know? It can be a doozy being a human, you know? Right? Frog purging. The universe wants us to purge those old ways of speaking death and illness and all this nastiness over ourselves, over other people, over other living creatures, over the world. Like, not that we need to pretend and sidestep and sweep things under the rug and act like things aren't happening. The universe doesn't want us to be in denial about the reality, okay? It's what we're choosing to focus on, though. Because honestly, so many people I've come across, I'm not saying everybody, because I know there are people out there who are like me and like have my general mindset. Not that I've come across them yet, but I know they're out there. But they're just so negative and constantly complaining and speaking death and illness and all this negativity over themselves and everything. And it's just like, the universe wants us to let that go. It wants us to stop going through those unconscious, unhealthy, toxic patterns and cycles and dynamics and negative limiting beliefs and narratives. Like, it wants us to purge those. It wants us to be more mindful. It wants us to be more intentional and selective and purposeful, because we're creating our reality. And so it's just like, if you're constantly complaining about everything, well, it's like, yeah, you're going to get more things to complain about. The energy you put out comes back to you. So it's like, the universe like, oh, you must like complaining because you do that a lot. You're focusing on this a lot. And again, that's not to say you can't be human and have those negative emotions or have those moments of venting and complaining and all that. But it's what you focus on overall. Because if I look at my family, they don't focus on gratitude. And if they are trying to be, you know, more quote unquote positive, it's usually the toxic positivity, trying to sweep things under the rug, trying to sidestep it, trying to act like it's not there. Like, my mom was just like really out of touch because she was talking to my brother today and he was freaking out because he couldn't find his keys. He does that a lot. He loses them a lot, but he was like basically acting like it was the end of the world. And she was like trying to like, I got where she was coming from, because she was trying to get him to, you know, look big picture and like think about how to fix it, and like he could find him, but like it was just a very like disingenuous way, and it, like, she wasn't like connecting and resonating with him. She was just like off base and out of touch, and that's how my family is. And so the universe is wanting us to purge those old ways and to get in the flow, to be in the now, to not like try to sidestep and sweep things under the rug and act like they're not happening, because that happens a lot in society, doesn't it? It happens a lot. And a lot of times it's because of a lack of trust between other people, trust in yourself, trust in the universe and the divine, trust in the world, trust in life. Like, there's a lot of lack of trust nowadays. And a lot of that can be coming from trauma and projecting and thinking that the past is repeating itself. So then, like, even genuine souls, like with me, like, people end up projecting all this stuff onto me that I'm not doing For instance, what happened with that toxic group of the narcissists, they started deciding that I automatically assumed they were the bad guys, and I had already decided that, and like that they were horrible monsters that could not be redeemed and all that. And it's like, if I thought that, I wouldn't be trying this hard to have open, honest, respectful, loving communication with you, to open it up, to try to reach this peaceful resolutions. I wouldn't be trying this hard. If I decided you were the bad guys, I would have just blocked all of you and never said anything to you. But I was trying and trying and trying for days and weeks. And so it's just like, they didn't have the trust though. They projected all their past experiences onto the present, and it just blew up in their faces. And so, mind you, you need to be mindful and use your discernment with who you trust, because like me, I've been backstabbed and betrayed and left out to dry and abandoned and neglected and all these things because I ended up trusting the wrong people. I admit it. I saw the potential in people, and I know that there's good in everyone, and so I just kept trying and trying and trying, giving more and more grace, giving more and more chances, and I trust the wrong people. I gave my heart and put myself in vulnerable positions with the wrong people, and so I can acknowledge that. But just because there are people out there who will wrong you doesn't mean everyone's like that. And so many people end up walling off their hearts and refusing to come outside, just like hiding away. And it's like, we gotta have more trust. The universe has our back. It's gonna work things out to our favor. And as hard as that experience was for me, and like so many others that I've experienced that are along those lines, it has helped me get stronger and stronger and be more and more in the strength of my character and integrity, and know who I am, what I stand for, what's important to me, and that even when everything just goes like it goes poop and like chaos and turbulence and like crazy storms, and everyone's just being nasty and negative, and like everyone's turning on you, I'm still me, and I still come from a place of kindness and peace and integrity, and I don't let other people change me. And so like that has helped me have more trust in the universe and myself. It's like, okay, I'll be able to weather the storms and make it through things even when it gets so hard and it feels unbearable. It's not easy being human, but we gotta know our worth and trust, And have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, rabbit listening. The universe wants us to listen more, to observe more. Not that we're purely, listening, observing, because we need to, speak up as well. That's one thing that it's been tricky for me, is like I tend to be in observer mode to listen, and it usually ends up in me having these one-sided relationships where I am just like the sounding board, and people are just constantly talking to me, and then there's not space for me to speak up. And if I do end up speaking up at all to share some of my problems, it's like, oh, you're too much, you're too needy, you're too emotional, why are you doing this, you're ruining everything. And so it's like there's a balance, because yes, we should listen, have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, to listen to the universe, to watch for signs and messages, but we also need to act. We also need to speak up and, have the open communication, that open dialogue back and forth between us and the universe, because the universe wants to co-create with us. But if we're too much in our own head, and we're trying to force and control and, just like make things happen on our own, and we're just being rigid and inflexible and stubborn, we're not really listening then, are we? And so that's why the universe is saying, hey, listen, remember to surrender, embrace the flow, tune into the divine, trust that it's working out for you. Because a lot of times as humans, we can get caught up in that, Not that we're horrible, but it can be tricky. And yeah, dog devotion. The universe, one, wants us to know that it is purely devoted to us. It's like a loyal dog. It always has our back. It will follow us around and help us out any way it can. But also, it wants you to be devoted to yourself, to know your worth, to, realize that you deserve better and that you can go after your dreams, that you can show up for yourself every day, you can fill up your own cup. You don't have to listen to all these other people who are telling you, oh, you're too much. You're too much. Like, why are you doing this? Like, you need to do it for me. You're being selfish. Like, no. Enough of that. We have released the need to fix everything. And that's very much like the message of this, is the fact that we don't need to control everything. We don't have to be so rigid and try to force things. We can embrace the flow of life. We can trust. We can surrender. We can listen more. We can trust more. And know that just because, like in this instance of this card, the cup of tea fell over and it spilled, and it's just like, we could blow that out of proportion and be like, oh my gosh, it just ruined my day. It's like, okay, we can clean it up. And like, maybe, there won't be any more tea for you right then, but that's okay. Like, life goes on. We can go with the flow. Maybe you end up going out and you get a different drink and you end up meeting this really cool person because of it, Like, we don't have to be so rigid with our mindset and have those blinders on. We can be open and go with the flow. We can trust that things are working out for us. From wounds, wisdom grows. Yeah, I can speak to that. There's been some deep, deep wounds in my life, in my human journey. Like, I could probably write novels, like literal books about all of that, but like what happened, again, that experience I brought up earlier with the toxic group of the narcissists, I grew a lot and I gained a lot of insight and wisdom after that experience. Is like, oh, I see things more clearly now. I can use my discernment more. I even, did some research and deep dives into narcissism, because one was officially diagnosed with that. Didn't know enough about it. It's like, now I know a whole lot more. I am wiser because of that experience. I can identify things better. Not that I'm perfect. I'm still learning and growing. I'm still a work in progress like everybody else, but I'm definitely wiser from that, and you will be too. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will suck. Like, I'm not saying that I wish that kind of thing on anyone. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies or myself or anything like that, but see what silver lining can come from things, even the really hard, painful ones. Because you can grow wiser. You can gain strength from these things. It's not so much, when the universe metaphorically puts you in the fire, it's not to burn you, incinerate you, turn you to ash. It's to forge you, to refine you, to get you to come out even stronger and more resilient than before. Yeah, it can suck. Doesn't mean it's enjoyable, but it's for your benefit. Yeah, that's the thing. You are stronger than you feel. Because I can feel super weak a lot of times, especially when I'm in the thick of the human emotions and the hurt and the betrayal, the backstabbing, the realizing that you've been lied to and deceived and manipulated and gaslit and all that. Like, it hurts and it makes you feel like you're kind of stupid and you're no good. And it's like, how did I get myself in this situation? How did I trust the wrong people to let this happen to me? Like, oh my goodness. But the thing is, you made it through that. I made it through a whole bunch, like so many nightmares. But even if you feel weak, like, you actually have a lot of strength in you. So give yourself more credit, trust that you can overcome whatever obstacles are in your path. You are still becoming. So it's okay. It's going to work out. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have it all together. You're still allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to have your human emotions, the whole range of them, not just the positive ones. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to take time for yourself. It's okay. You're human. You're still becoming. You are the work in progress and the masterpiece at the same time. It's okay. There's no rush. Yeah. It's okay to rest. It's okay to rest. If you need to go slower, to have a slower pace, if you need to take time to fill up your cup, to sleep, to rest, to relax, to rejuvenate, to replenish yourself, do it. That's what I've been doing. Honestly, like pretty hardcore ever since all that drama at the end of last year. I still go out and do things, but like overall, my social battery has been very limited, and I've been focusing on resting and replenishing and doing things that I enjoy, which is why I've been working on, this channel. I have always wanted to help people. I always wanted to be someone that uplifts and sends love. But like I also really enjoy creative things, which is why I've been working on things like writing and the coloring sheets and books and all of that. So it's okay to rest. You can go at your own pace. There's no rush. You are still becoming. You have time. Yeah. Alignment. Your thoughts are manifesting rapidly. Trust in the divine guidance and stay focused on your goals. Get in alignment. Get in alignment with what you want. Get in alignment with the divine. Get in alignment with what you currently need. Listen to your body. That's another thing, when I was saying listening, also listen to your body. Like if you need more rest, if you need certain foods, if you need more water, if you have to take things slower, or if your body's feeling really energized and you need to go do movement, you need to go out and do things, you need to run around, you need to dance, you need to sing, whatever it is, get in alignment because things are working out for you. They are. Trust that it's working out for you because it is. And you're growing so much. Growth. You're experiencing growth and expansion in all areas of your life. You are on the right path and moving towards greater fulfillment and success. That's the thing. You're still becoming. It's okay. It's going to work out. Trust. Trust. Embrace the flow. Know your worth. Go for it. Because you are creating your dream life. You are creating your dream reality. You are moving in the right direction. You don't need to fix everything. You are moving in the right direction as you are. And yeah, you're moving in the right path, the right direction, because you're coming from the heart space more. You're being intentional, selective, mindful, and purposeful with what you say, what you do, how you show up in the world, where you spend your time, energy, and attention, who, what, when, where you associate with. Your heart having this love, deep affection, and caring for yourself and the world around you, And it's going to make a world of a difference. And part of that is just tuning into the divine because there's so much love from the divine and that you can be a conduit for it, Get in alignment and flow with that. We have horse, short journey. And so this might be literally in the physical. Could be mentally, it could be emotionally, it could be, spiritually, like going inward and having this journey of introspection, reflection, contemplation, processing, purging, all of that. But it's going to work out for you when you take that journey, when you, go for it, when you're not hesitating and be like, well, maybe. And yeah, sometimes we'll talk ourselves out of things because there are obstacles, major challenge to overcome, and our feelings, our past traumas, sorting out which way we want to head in life, they can feel really, really big and insurmountable. But the universe wants you to trust. It wants you to know that you are being guided. You can surrender and just take things one step at a time. It's going to be okay. You're going to overcome. Know you're worthy and that you're stronger than you feel. You are heading in the right direction. You are still becoming. Go for it. Yeah, you're climbing the ladder of success. And I find it interesting that the ladder is showing up twice. You are still becoming and you're becoming successful. You're becoming a greater version of yourself. You're becoming prosperous. You're climbing towards success. So get excited. Go for it. The universe is giving the green light. Yeah. Go for it because needle and thread, a sincere wish will be granted. It will be granted because of you getting in alignment, because of you listening to yourself and the divine and getting in alignment, having that inspired, aligned action, releasing the need to control, releasing the need to fix everything, allowing yourself to be, to go with the flow, surrendering, And by doing all that, you're going to be guided to wealth in all shapes and sizes. Not just, the monetary wealth, but wealth of health, wealth of love, wealth of joy, wealth of peace, wealth of a loving family, whether that's chosen or a bloodline, wealth of friendships and meaningful connections, wealth of knowing who you are, and wealth of connection to yourself, other people, the world, the divine, like a wealth of rest, a wealth of trust, a wealth of wisdom, a wealth of growth, a wealth of guidance. Like, you are being led to the wealth, and it's all going to work out for you. It's all going to work out for you. So yeah, we just need to get more intentional about things instead of just going into these unconscious, unhealthy coping mechanisms and patterns and cycles, because that's really going to trip us up and we can end up unintentionally self-sabotaging. I've been there and done that before. I'm human just like you guys. But I'm sending you so much love. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.